Earth Debate, Uncut and After Show. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe. Hit the bell notification icon and join button if you'd like to become a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member and keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you would like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they premiere, and there's also a Ko-Fi, Patreon, crypto and thanks button in the info box below the video. Speaking of Patreons, I'm going to do a quick shout out to all of you who do support me on Patreon. So, a massive shout of thanks and appreciation to Thomas van der Zander, Cannabear, Gary Hughes, Measured Flat, Chris Wouters, Mr. Amish, Sensual Goat, Mitch Kennedy, Rod, The Name's Burley, Todd Wazzle, Jason Hornsby, Christoph Fournier, Flat Earth Travolta, JMels24, Unimento, Iron26, Endless, Golden McKinnon, Retro Bill, Level Playing Poem, Michael Kahn, John Kays, Patrick Gunnels, Banter, Mel B. Styles, Hairy Blade, Mobile Max 777, Rob W, Del West Watson, Unbelievable Productions, Blue Ridge Ranger, Abraham Mohammed, Skeptic 936, Life is Short, Texas Mike, Chow Young Cat, David Wayne Foster, and Dank. So another massive thank you to all of you for supporting me on Patreon. Now I will hand over to whoever is in Discord and Google so you can enjoy their dulcet tones while I set up for today's live show.
And have you seen the like that Eric Boy? I've just posted it on the chat there, where they're doing these cameras that are moving, like making it look like the Earth's actually moving and not the sky.
Oh wow, it looks pretty good actually. Let me show you. I'm gonna copy and post it in Skype too for Nathan. Yeah, that's pretty cool. It also goes to show you that the sky looks so flat too. It just looks like a wallpaper being dragged across the sky. The stars.
Very good.
Oh, I thought you was going to review a drama movie today or something.
I'll ask for that in a second, Matthias. I'll figure out what we're going to cover on the show in a minute. I've started a little bit late.
Nah, I was just messing with you. Sounded like music from a drama movie or something.
No, that was the sound from that video that Righteous just said when it went silent.
Oh, my bad.
Well, there's this guy LeBron Tattoo. He still wants to push that Dave Weiss video, but this time he gave us a reason. He said, "Let's see here. Follow up from a couple of last week's videos, particularly the FE ambassador. It starts off quite normal. They touch on Christianity, but 5 minutes in, Jessie asks Dave a question that he cannot answer. And then he goes, Dave has changed to change his name after this. Go from an hour 24 minutes for the crazy part. So either an hour 18 minutes or an hour 24 minutes. And I'll just get you the video and post it on Skype right now. If you want to cover it.
Sure, put the link. Can you copy the link and put it at the bottom of the Master B?
Yep. Give me a sec. Let me timestamp it at 18 minutes roughly. Right, it's right there. It's at the 18 minutes. You can go either from the 18-minute mark or the 20-hour 24-minute mark.
By 18, you mean 1 hour 18, right?
Yeah, 1 hour 18 or 1 hour 24 if you want to get to the juicy part, as that guy said.
The juicy part's at 1 hour 24 minutes, so we're only talking, yeah, but it might take us half an hour to get through 6 minutes, right?
Right.
Okay, well, just remind me when we get live. trimmed out the bit with the middle guy, not Jessie, but the guy in between. Humongous something or other. You here for that, Righteous?
Yeah. Was I here for that?
Yeah.
No.
Okay, well, I trimmed it out. It's a members-only video.
Okay.
Yeah, QE took him through the slope dope, and I took him through the height above sea level. It's good. He got welcomed to Flat Earth on several occasions. He demonstrated quite a high degree of zealotry in the face of his own claims that proved to Flat Earth, and was had by all.
Okay. But I can't add to this conversation. I don't I don't know what to say about it.
Spent all morning mucking around with the computer thinking it was going wrong, and I think it's actually the digging up the road for electricity purposes, and I think that's interfering with the Wi-Fi. Not the Wi-Fi, you know what I mean, the internet.
Yeah, I've seen you come offline and online a few times. I was wondering for a sec.
Yeah, I think there's problems. I mean, hopefully I can warm you up sooner rather than later, and we can plod our way through the live stream just in case there are any issues. But as I say, when I took the kids to the park this morning, we were walking past like all exposed cables for everything, not just electricity. Obviously, they dig it up, and there's all sorts of stuff.
Okay. Well, let's see who wants to pipe up in Discord. Anybody in Discord want to pipe up?
Come on, Moop. Let's hear that sexy voice.
We're only being recorded and it's live. Every move is watched. Nothing to worry about.
No, we're not live.
Oh, not live. We're not even recording. I mean, not recording though, obviously. And you get used to talking on the show when it's being recorded and stuff like that. I remember when I first started a long time ago, it seemed a little bit odd, but then after a while, I just I don't know, you just get used to it, I guess. And I'm not that much of a talker either, at least on your show. It's good to have down though.
You are no Johnny B.
Oh yeah, it's good. It's a good thing to have under your belt to be able to do the public speaking thing, right? So
Well, it's important to know how to continue a conversation, even though when you have nothing to talk about.
wait, turn yourself up a bit. Turn yourself up a bit. You're a bit quiet.
I'm quiet. What do you mean quiet? Maybe you're
I would have to crank you up. You're coming really low.
test 1 2 test 1
That's better.
2. Better.
Yeah, try again.
Test 1 2 test 1 2. I had a computer reset, so probably my mic settings have changed.
Right.
How about now? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, you're much better. Go on, what were you saying?
Yeah, I put new memory chips in my computer. You'd be surprised how the computer actually starts working better.
All right, but what were you saying before about the when your volume is low?
Yeah, well, the volume. Whenever I reset my computer, the mic settings get reset, and it has its own volume level on the front of the mic that you can adjust by hand.
Okay.
And so that resets itself back to the lower level, and I crank it up a little bit, and it becomes back to the normal levels.
Okay. But what were you saying before the mic issue stuff?
Well, I've noticed a lot of people have had mic issues recently because some people have had to crank up to 200% just to hear them. And other people I had, and then next day I have to crank them back down because all of a sudden they're too loud.
I'll help you out, Righteous. It can be a lot more difficult on Discord because there's a slight delay between when you mute and unmute. And obviously, with how fast you've got to be, your time is going to be impeccable on a live show. Otherwise, you get berated by the show host.
Okay. Well, I think
Whereas on
it's a
this
combination
side,
of
the
things.
mute is instantaneous.
Okay. Yeah, people have been saying things about a delay.
Well, it's the internet. There's always going to be some delay. It's those satellites, you know. Damn it.
Did you ask me something? I'm concentrating on other things. Was that directed at
No,
me?
you can concentrate. You can concentrate. But what about what I was saying about earlier?
Yeah. What you were
About
saying.
talking on the show, right? Having this under your belt to be able to do public speaking is a good thing to have under your belt, no?
Yeah, true.
In fact, when you go to like college or university and stuff like that, they actually get you familiar with talking in front of people, even in high school. Right? You do
Yeah,
presentation in front of
there's
people.
even the organization called Toastmasters. They just gather so they can have people go up and do public speaking and give speeches and stuff like that. So,
Right. So
because it
yeah,
is a skill, it has to be something that be learned, right?
right. And for me, learning public speaking, I got it. I think I got to put it. I got broke in, let's say, through the show. So
Yeah, the
yeah.
best was Adolf Hitler, so I used to spend hours a day listening to him, practicing.
What?
YouTube's
Joking
a
aside.
doddle. Oh, sorry.
Oh, what's that, Nathan?
I say it's easy. Public speaking, it is, strictly speaking, but it's not the same as even an audience of 2 or 3 people that are right in front of you. You know, anything from a couple to, doesn't matter, thousands, it wouldn't matter. Then it becomes much more difficult. YouTube, there's your camera in front of you, and that's it. And then the little number of people that it says are watching you. Yeah?
Right.
Imagine replacing the camera with 3 people sat on a stool. That'd be harder or easier?
It depends. Depends on who they are, right?
3 random strangers.
Yeah, 3 random strangers probably wouldn't be super difficult. But I'd say getting into the public square somewhere of your city, getting on the PA and start randomly talking to strangers, that would be a little bit more on the difficult side.
Exactly.
Well, I also got used to hearing. Go on.
I was going to say that's called stage fright.
There's something else you get used to being on the internet or on YouTube. You get used to your voice. I'm like a lot more used to hearing myself on, let's say, like if I replay your show, Nathan, or if I replay one of my videos, right? I'm a lot familiar with my voice now than I used to be. The first time I heard a recording of myself, I was like in grade 6 or something like that, and I was like, "Oh my goodness!" That was like a shock.
It's always much higher pitched than you imagine it, because what you're hearing of your own voice is more predominantly the resonance of your own skull, which adds quite a lot of bass. So when you hear your own voice on a recording, you'll go, "Oh, well, I didn't know I was that high pitched," and you're not.
What do you mean, Nathan? No, like, whatever Righteous is using for his microphone, it lowers his timbre a little bit there. Because when he's on his iPad or pad or whatever he's using, that's a whole different story.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hello, hello.
Hello. It's good to be here. exciting stuff. We're all looking forward to going to politics tomorrow.
Yay.
Oh, don't be too enthused. A lot of people have commented on how it's their favourite show of the week. Now, I like all of the shows. I think they're excellent.
It's always more exciting in the politics server. More numpties in there. Are we still live? Are we still on the air? Because I'm not hearing anything on the from Nathan.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe he went for a coffee.
No, I'm still here. Can you not hear me?
No,
Now
we
we
did
can.
not hear you
No.
for about 20 seconds.
Oh, okay, that's weird. Everything seemed to be working at my end. Did you hear me shout out the super chat?
No.
No.
Oh, that's weird. Okay, I don't know. Things are going a bit weird. It could be my internet connection because they're digging up the road outside, so it might just drop the internet connection temporarily. That could be it. Doing my bit to support your hard work, Nathan. Thank you, says Moop from the super chat. And he's also on the panel, so thank you, Moop.
It's okay, Nathan.
Did he respond? Was that Moop? That wasn't Moop. He's off mute.
No, it weren't me, but no, yeah, I'm just supporting you, Nathan. Yeah, no, well, you know, you put a lot of effort and time in, and I'm always listening, so it's only right that, you know what I mean. I'm just doing my bit to support you every month I can. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, thank you very much. I'm flattered and touched. Really appreciate it. Okay, we will do a housekeeping question. We do have a video to cover today, which we'll get to shortly. And I should do a plug, really, as I did the work. Why not? There's a members-only video, so if you are a member, and I positively encourage you to be one if you're not already, and there's a trimmed-out video from yesterday's after show. So there was a couple, if not three, debates. That is to say that fundies challenged us or made claims that were refuted. And the in-between one, if you will, was the one that I cut out. So it's, I can't remember the guy's name. It was something like, I'm going to say Among Us or something like that. I can't remember what it was called. Can anybody remember the guy's name yesterday? Neil, you're pretty good with names. What was the guy's name, the middle guy with a foreign accent?
Oh, I couldn't even understand that guy. I didn't even catch his name. Sorry.
Well, in any event, he was welcome to a flat Earth on several occasions, was he not, Neil? So I thought it was worthy of putting out, and I did.
I couldn't wait.
Well, you're a member at the moment, so you can see that, Neil, if you want to check that out. I've trimmed it out. Okay, let's do a housekeeping question. Any evidence you can acquire an elevation angle measurement from a curved baseline?
No, but Brian's latest video was pretty good.
Hey, Christopher.
Kind of breaking it down.
Hey, Christopher.
Hello. I meant to join with my other username. Hang on. A second.
Yeah, you'll do that at the start of joining these sessions. Hopefully you didn't unintentionally dox yourself.
Who cares?
Well, there we go. Another housekeeping question, or should we get straight into the video? It feels a bit early.
Do some more housekeeping.
We can rattle our way through a couple more, I suppose. Any evidence of a self-perpetuating molten iron core at the centre of a presupposed spherical Earth?
None whatsoever.
Any evidence of the R value, Earth radius?
What? Again?
Hey, Chris.
How would you even go about getting the radius of Earth? Aren't you going to need a flat surface for that?
Yes.
Oh, dear.
Yeah, minimum elevation angle measurement to Polaris of a flat plane.
I was asked by somebody recently who doesn't understand their own model, is why would we use a radius value? Why wouldn't we just use a circumference?
I'm not sure if that's not a really stupid question. The two are intrinsically linked, obviously. What, maybe you can expand on that on his behalf or her behalf. I don't really understand why you'd be suggesting that one is more useful than the other. I don't get it.
No, neither do I. So I just said, well, it's still geometry. So how was it measured? And that's where the conversation broke down.
Right, exactly. The fact that they derive it via radial values, that's how they derive it, right?
They claim to have, yeah.
Calculate it if you're going to call it spherical radial value, because it's not. You know, the calculation's perfectly fine and sound if you just want to define it as what it is. The edge of an area that you would see Polaris kissing the horizon. That's it. That's what it is. Circle of equal elevation. George not here today. Where's George? I'd expect a George pipe up there. He's not here though. Go on, Baxi.
Yeah, George may be working or something.
Why was that guy? What was the one of your just start that again? One of those discussions was with you, Vaxi. There's a lot of vowels all in one sentence. That was yesterday, right? Maybe it's just hot micing. Vaxi, you're off mute. I don't know if that's intentional or not. Vax.
Yeah, I'm trying to, but my buttons are gone.
Okay, well, while you were off mute, you were involved in one of the debates yesterday, were you not? In the after show?
Maybe. With Jessie?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I think it was you that I rounded out on, hopefully, while you find your mute button. Otherwise, you're going to destroy this live show. Just to let you know.
It's just all my buttons on like when I tap the screen, a little hang up button and mute button's gone. All I have is a camera on and off button. So.
Okay, then you're going to have to drop or get server muted because I can't have your background audio through a live show. You can't just
right. But I have no way of.
Then you're going to have to leave.
No,
you can't.
I can't leave. I don't have a.
Somebody's put him on server mute. Hopefully he sorts himself out. I'm really sorry. Got to be cruel to be kind.
No, I did that. It's all right. We'll sort him out later. But let's carry on.
That was hilarious. No, you must leave. You can't destroy my audio. I can't leave. What do you want me to do? I've got no buttons. I could feel his pain. It was really funny. Sorry, Baxi. I'm really sorry. Hopefully we get you sorted out. It's just if you got somebody off mute, I'm sure you appreciate it's just their hot micing through everyone. Anyway. Wow, that's a terrible segue.
Related question for you, Nathan.
Sorry.
Where were we? There's been a complete balls up of this live show. Where were we? Sensual, help me out.
Neil, then me.
Neil, go ahead.
We were on a molten iron quarter last time. That was the last question.
A friend of mine told me that a friend of theirs had bought rocks, lunar rocks. And they know that they're lunar rocks because the type of degradation on the rock, they know it's from falling, from heat, from falling. That was the claim. So then when I asked, well, is that from the sky vacuum? And showed how the sky can't be a vacuum. Then the question was then put on me, how do I explain the rocks, the heat on the rocks? Have you heard that before?
Yeah. They also claim that the rocks that they found in Antarctica match the rocks that they got when they lied about going through a sky vacuum to get rocks from the moon. So, ergo, the Antarctic rocks are definitely the same as the rocks we lied about as being moon rocks. That's how we know the moon rocks are moon rocks. They match the ones in Antarctica that came from the moon, obviously. They
Yeah,
just
it's
flip the
pretty
burden,
nuts.
is what you're saying.
So I cut you off. Say again.
Just flip the burden. I've got a claim that moon rocks are proven. Here's how they had some claim nonsense about them, proving my non sequitur in and affirming the consequent, therefore they're moon rocks. You challenge them based on if they came from a violation of natural law, and then they flip the burden. Well, how do you explain these moon rocks? I'm not claiming them. What are you asking me for? They're your claim that fails miserably because there's no sky vacuum. End of the claim that they've come from the moon.
Yeah, and then I was accused of ending the discussion or shutting down the discussion because I refused to make a claim about something which wasn't my claim in the first instance. It's a war out there.
Yeah, people want to appeal to a fallacy. Well, if you won't substitute in a replacement story where mine fails, then you're unreasonable and are shutting down the conversation. Because what they really mean is, I need you to make some garbage claim I can sink my teeth into now to discredit you, because then we're even. And my complete failure to prove these moon rocks have come from a sky vacuum can be forgotten about because I proved you wrong on the next thing you claimed. But you won't claim something. So all we're left with is my loss. You're unreasonable. Obviously.
Well summarised.
Whoever that was from Discord.
Just saying, yeah, you do get this nonsense. They start talking about the moon and the lights in the sky, but I'm sick of talking about all that. As soon as you start with that, I'll start asking them about sea level and elevation angles to Polaris and how they think Earth curvature is measured. Because every time they try and explain Earth curvature, there will be an elevation angle measurement involved to a luminary in the sky, and sea level will be involved, which has nothing to do with any sort of Earth curvature. It's bizarre.
It's not just elevation angles, it's elevations full stop.
Yeah,
Absolutely
elevation
right.
profiles above sea level. Yeah, it's a level plane of reference for all elevations above and below sea level.
Yep, exactly. Guy did it yesterday. I don't know if you were here when that happened yesterday. The clip we were just talking about that I trimmed out for members. Were you here?
Yeah, that guy brought up sea level yesterday.
Well, he didn't. He said your height with respect to a globe. And I was like, you don't have height above curve level. No such animal. There's only your height above sea level.
Yeah, and then they will undoubtedly then try to explain how level is curved, not level. That's where it will go, without a doubt.
That's where it did go. He said, well, level isn't level. So with the slope-intercept formula, you can point out that to have a deviation from level, level must be level. Alternatively, as I did, you take them to their own mathematics that asserts they've got a curve that they're claiming in the first instance. I prefer that method because it ties directly to what they're asserting. We've got Earth curve, and that Earth curve then becomes level moving around a sphere edge. You're like, no, level isn't moving around the sphere edge because the description of the moving around bit comes from a derivation of the level bit that you're violating when you describe it curving. Level doesn't curve. It's their final last chance saloon rebuttal when they get to the part where they're measuring Earth flat. Well, we're measuring Earth as a level plane. Yeah, but level isn't a level plane. It's a ball. Is what they're basically coming back at you with. It's absurd, but that's what they're doing. And then they go to a Merriam-Webster definition that says that the height above the centre of Earth is what level is. Well, no, it is not. Certainly isn't in their maths. If you assert that level isn't level, then you can't have a surface level and eye level parallel to derive Earth curve from. So, like I say, that's where I like to take them.
Yeah, good one. And like sea level is nothing to do with the centre of hell. Sea level is on the surface of Earth.
Yep.
And that's where elevation profiles are measured from. And that's where we will be getting a horizontal baseline for any elevation angles to and from Polaris. Not from the centre of hell, from the surface of Earth.
Same goes for heights. You're going to start inserting calculations for Earth curve. You're going to start with your height above surface level. That's what's being done in the maths. It's right there in the maths. That's what you need. They've hijacked the actual measurements of Earth, and the Earth is measured flat. So for their claims, they're not getting very far on flat Earth debate currently, because as soon as they use any input into their extrapolation of a globe that utilizes a flat Earth measurement, we're pointing it out to them immediately. They don't get very far. Suddenly they're arguing about their prerequisites they need to move their claim forward because they've got their origins in a flat Earth. Epic.
It's funny how it's come full circle, pardon the pun, but you know, if you could offer, if they ask you for any flat Earth evidences, you can just use their old globe proof evidences, like you know, Eratosthenes. Just point out that that is a flat Earth piece of information that proves Earth is flat. It's measured flat. Al-Biruni. You can use all their claims because every one of them is a flat Earth proof. It's fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. As a general statement, that's true. But as a nuance to that, in 2024, I'm suggesting that people only do that if they're forced into a reactive situation. That is to say, your opponent gets the first jab and starts putting a globe claim to you. Now, unless they're putting a globe claim to you, you shouldn't even be mentioning the globe if you're a flat earther. You should hopefully realise that that's a distant memory of a belief system that you understand, but no longer need to appeal to how it isn't that anymore. You know, let it go, flat earthers, let it go. Don't need the globe in your rhetoric anymore. Yeah? The earth is measured flat, and if you've got a good solid understanding of how their globe comes from those measurements, you can point them towards them every time they use them. But you don't need to be preemptively arguing on their behalf for how a globe doesn't work. There's got to be a line drawn. I'm the one drawing it.
Is it a curved line, Nathan, or a straight line?
Straight line. But we've got to stop saying the globe doesn't work because of X, Y, and Z. Yeah, we've done it. We've had the culmination of all globe-centric debunkings in the form of the Black Swan 4 years ago. Well, that's quite a while ago. Let's be honest. It's like 25 years in flat Earth years. So you know it's a long time ago, and now we need to be on the front foot. If you're a flat earther, own it. Own it, because they're going to be using it on the opposing side if they do come at you with a positive claim. But unless they do, you need to just declaring it as it is. Earth's measured flat. That's how it's done. When they start telling you no, we get XYZ measurements, PZX measurements, then you point out where they're taking reference to a plane for angle measurements to the stars, for the system of navigation, latitude, longitude, you name it. It's all flat. That's how Earth's measured. Own it.
It's a bold endeavour, Nathan, because the standard is so high. I just can't see David Weiss, someone, for example, who you're covering today, he refuses to acknowledge the true definition of a scientific method and what it is and what it isn't. How he's going to rewrite his whole script that he's been using for the last 8 years, whatever it's been. So,
segue.
Yeah, good luck.
Well, it's a good segue because that means I can go into this now. This is the right time as opposed to 6 minutes in the show. Okay, I'm going to share a link with Jessie's channel. Some of you may be familiar with it. It's a pretty popular guy. So you can go and let him know. At Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me. There is a link to his channel going by right now. So leave a nice comment. Subscribe if you choose to do so. But more importantly than anything, help him in the algorithmic love that obviously us as Flat Earth YouTubers definitely do not receive. And yeah, leave him a comment, leave him a like, do all those YouTube things on the basis that we would hope he'd do the same for us if he was to respond. So you never know, he might check out this video based on you letting him know that at Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me with the politest of possible comments so it does not get deleted from his channel. And then, yeah, hopefully he'll, this guy particular, he's hosting this particular discussion. Hopefully we aren't too critical of him. We'll see. Not promising anything. But yeah, please click on that link if you are watching right now in the live stream. And I do mean literally, specifically you, if you are watching, click on that link. You can see it going by on screen. You can hear me telling you to do it. It'll only take you a couple of seconds to go and say, hey, at Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me here. And people love that, especially if you're a YouTuber. He'll love that. He'll like your comment because it means he's having people directed to him. So it tells him he's popular. Everybody loves that. So yeah, hopefully that's bought enough time for at least a couple of you from the live stream audience. There's 90 people watching to actually click on that link and go and tell him at Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me. Anybody got any pre-waffle to us covering this? We're at a specific timestamp given to us by Righteous Force. So maybe Righteous, did you want to give us a little preemptive ramble about what we're going to be covering here? He's very shy. He's not used to public speaking.
Right. Righteous Force may have stepped out.
Oh, okay. Anybody else watched this? Then I should really introduce it with the proper name of the video. It's Jessie Lee Peterson's the name of the channel. As I say, some of you may already be familiar with him. I certainly am. Guest, Flat Earth Dave, Dalai Lama, Diet Type, Happy Birthday Jessie, JLP Show, 5/22/24. Fantastic clickbait title. I've got no room to talk. Nevertheless, that's the name of the video, so check it out. Anybody else got anything to say on this, or should we just get straight into it?
Is this the guy who was on yesterday, Nathan, who was talking about scientific method by any chance? The jokey guy? No.
No, that's different, Jessie.
Ah, right.
It's his brother.
I don't know if they're related because they're both called Jessie. Right, let's get into it.
A flat earther. A flat earther, right? His name is, my guess is David Weiss. And David is also known as Flat Earth Dave. Flat Earth Dave. David is from the East Coast of the United States, where he was born and raised, and has some insight into the curious subject of our earth.
Define Christian, more of a Christian than many people, Bible thumpers that call themselves Christians.
And I haven't to define Christian. How do you define Christianity?
Oh, well, now we're diving in. I would say somebody that believes in the Creator, that believes in Christ, that loves their neighbor and obeys God's law. That's the foundation of Christianity.
Oh, okay.
As opposed to having accepted Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior. Doesn't know what a Christian is. Maybe it's because he's Jewish.
Yeah,
but you got to get that Christian coin in, right, Dave? I assume that's not why he wanted us to cover this. Oh, he's not here, is he?
Okay.
Righteous.
And do you believe that God created heaven and earth?
Yes.
You do believe that?
Yes.
And why should we believe you when you say that the earth is flat? Why?
Right. So straight off the bat, we're gonna find issue, aren't we? I already know that this isn't going to be the answer I'd give. So
should we believe?
Did not believe me.
Why?
Belief is the enemy.
He set him up correct. He's not asked Dave, why is it not a ball? He said, why is it flat? That's a question that we're asking people to start with, yeah? To tell people why it's flat, not to tell them why it's not a ball. So the question from Jessie, I think's perfect.
no, it isn't.
Yeah.
No, it's not, because Jesse's asking him, and I'm not saying Jesse's wrong to be in a position societally to be asking this position in this phraseology, but he's asking, why should I believe you when you say Earth is flat? So there's quite a lot of pre-assumptions that are built into the question, aren't there?
Yeah, perfect question. You don't have to believe a thing. I will demonstrate and prove to you that it is flat. It's measured flat.
Oh,
it's
don't get me wrong.
That's why
No. Hold on. I get what Adam's going. Hold on, whoever's interrupting me. Yeah, I get where you're going. You're saying he's lined the pins up for us, the perfect bowlers. Yeah?
Yeah.
Right. Well, yeah, but it's not a... Dave's not a bowler. This will be a gutter ball.
Yeah, I didn't say he was going to get a strike. I just said the question is set up perfect for how you were saying we should approach things. Well, that's the perfect question for the new approach, is what I'm saying. So every bit of it.
Yeah. So who is it that was trying to get a word in before I summarised this point? Someone else was trying to get a word in. Or was it?
Maybe me. I mean,
Go ahead, Bondek.
so it would have been, yeah, it's a perfect opportunity to, it's not a belief, it's a fact. And it's measured that way. It's just, that's perfect. You could just hit him straight off with that.
Yeah, exactly. It's not a belief. That's how Earth is measured. End statement. Wait for reply.
Yeah, belief is the enemy of knowing, or belief is the lazy man's knowing. Because everybody believes that I'm on the East Coast because you said it, because I told you that. You believe it, but you don't know it. So to know it takes time and effort. And people are very lazy, and they don't want to take the time to verify things. God says verify.
Ugh. Just tell him it's flat.
All things.
And so you know for sure.
Yeah, that's it. That was your opener. That was your elevator pitch. That's it. He's now into his next question. That was the most important 15 seconds in this discussion, wasn't it? We're at the nitty-gritty. Why should I believe it's flat? Go. You don't believe it's flat. You know it's measured that way. All words to that effect. And then wait for the stunned silence that will follow. Rather than waffling on about, well, you believe I'm on the East Coast. Who cares? Go on, whoever that was in Discord. G+, rather.
It was me agreeing with you. Say, all I know now is that maybe Dave isn't on the East Coast. Next question.
Yeah.
But again, the next question's fine. Answer the bloody questions put to you, and you'll do fine.
That the Earth is flat, you know that without a doubt.
So he's had to reiterate the question to him, basically, hasn't he?
Yes, I do. And here is why.
I know for without a doubt that we're not on a spinning rocky ball.
Oh my God. Is Earth flat? I know we're not on a ball. You call yourself Flat Earth Dave?
All flying to an infinite, godless, or distant God, expanding universe, because when you look at the details of it,
he's about as flat as he is a Christian, isn't he?
He's about a what? Say that again.
He's had two opportunities to say what he is. Christian, yeah, gave a dodgy definition. I wouldn't say I'm a Christian, because I know what Christians define as being a Christian. There's a certain line you got to use. If you don't use it, they'll call you not a Christian. And now he's done the same with Flat Earth. Definitely know he's Flat Earth Dave. So you definitely know it's flat. I know it's not a ball.
I think this is where I think Dave actually, for Dave, Flat Earth Dave, I think it is a belief for him, because he's not given any factual evidence of it being flat and measured like that. He is talking about it as if it's a belief. He needs to snap out of that.
Well, I mean, we have definitely, or have we? I don't know. Did we respond to any videos that were actually on Flat Earth Dave's channel, so that we're sending people to Dave directly? Because obviously, in this instance, it's Jessie. Jessie will get a link. Hopefully, a few of you will do it. I'll do the call to action now. Please let Jessie know at Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me. And based on that, maybe Jessie will toddle along to us and see what we've got to say about how we approach things or how we critique him, because he's going to be solely interested in what we have to say about him and his show and how he does things. He's not going to really care about what we have to say about his guest and how his guest behaves, more how he deals with his guest based on how he behaved. You know what I mean? That's just how people are. I'm not saying he's selfish. I'm just saying that's how people are. So do we know that Dave has actually been told this stuff? Because unlike when it came to science, when I tried to contact Dave and got him on the Skype call and started going through it with him, and he shut me down and said, no, I don't want to hear this, and ended the conversation, right? So unlike with science, where I'm categorically say Dave did not want to have the conversation, he did not want to know what science was. In this instance, yeah, we've covered Dave a couple of times in 2024, but does that mean he knows how to go about it in terms of how we suggest the front foot forward method of just telling him Earth is measured flat, especially when you're being asked directly as Flat Earth Dave, if you can convince a host that your belief, as it's phrased, of Flat Earth is true, and you're just answering, I know it's not a ball. Oh. How do we know he's actually been furnished with this information is what I'm asking.
I mean, I don't know, but I've messaged him. I've direct messaged him a few times on social media, and invited him onto the show and explained that we can talk through it with him, and explain how Earth is actually measured flat. But I've not had a reply yet from him.
For whatever reason, Dave has sided with the people who want to call me scammers and told audience that he doesn't watch. You know, he's going out of his way to decry what we do. So from that perspective, you know, Dave and I used to be mates.
You thought you
So
and
what
Dave were mates.
So what happened there then, Nathan? Because obviously, you know, he's on our side, right? He's supposed to, and then it's like he's like totally disowned you.
I don't know about he disowned me. I heard him on a show being asked specifically by name about me by the guests they were interviewing, and he and the panel shut down all conversation about anything to do with me. We don't talk about Nathan. We don't watch Nathan. Let's change the subject. Was the sentiment. And then there was a prolonged discussion about McToon. So let me get it straight. Me on your side, the name that must not be mentioned, and Dave specifically, quote, we don't watch Nathan Oakley. Really? I thought I was defending your bleeding Bitcoin. But no, that's Dave Judas Weiss for you. That's what Dave's like, as I've found out, to my detriment. Nevertheless.
Because I think it's such a shame, isn't it? Oh, sorry, yeah, go on.
No, that's it. I was going to segue into something else. You go ahead.
I was just going to say, no, like, obviously, because it's such a shame because, like, you know, if he could just, you know, humble himself or whatever it is he needs to do, just get rid of that pride or whatever it is, whatever that is, he could, you know, once, you know, either you educating him just to bring him up to speed, then he could be a force of even greater good out there.
Maybe. Who knows?
I want nothing to do with them. Separate as far as you can from them.
Okay. Well, we're covering him right now, Neil, just so you know.
It's absolute
That's
insanity.
good.
But when you, you know, when you look at all the measurements of Earth, everything measures flat. When you measure the Earth.
Woohoo!
Wow.
Finally, some good news.
Well, there you go.
When you look at the details of it, it's absolute insanity. But when you, you know, when you look at all the measurements of Earth, everything measures flat. When you measure the Earth, we can see farther than they say we could see. You know, on a curved surface, there should be.
Oh, it was almost
My
there.
goodness.
We measure it flat. We can see too far than we should on a curved surface. So, I don't know. It sounds like he's had hints of this put to him, and he's just trying to gently and softly incorporate into what he already knows, his rhetorical devices that he's used at nausea for like years and years. So it's like, I understand how to rattle off an explanation of how we see too far. So if I can start by saying we measure Earth flat, it'll strengthen that. It's a completely different argument. It's an argument that assumes their position and then undoes their primary claim that you're making for them after saying it's measured flat. Yeah, people don't necessarily understand the gravitas of that statement. It needs punctuation. It doesn't need an expansion into a globe Earth assumption and seeing too far. I mean, that in and of itself annoys me. We don't see too far. We just see things.
Exactly. So how he should have phrased that was, Earth is measured flat. Everything we know, it's measured flat. And we see things at a distance because Earth is flat.
No, it's not because Earth is flat that we see things at a distance. You know, even you're doing it. There's a phrase.
Well, I'm trying to do it in a way where you don't have to say we see too far, because that's what he always wants to do.
Over egging the pudding.
That's the point. It's mitigation for a ball. Yeah, it's not needed. Stick with what demonstrates it's flat. Yeah,
He's not gonna.
We map it flat. We navigate it flat. The whole grid system is based on flat Earth elevation angles to Polaris.
I feel like I'm giving sales training. Hold on, let me address what Neil's just done, because he's done the same thing. Right. Just work with me, Neil. Don't take offence and start yammering over me and such like. right? You added 2 statements to the statement that needed punctuation. Earth's measured flat. Full stop. Pause. Wait for a response. Not Earth's measured flat and doesn't need anything. It's like a steak. Yeah? Put a bit of salt and pepper on it. That's it. It will taste delicious if it's a good steak. Don't necessarily need to cover it in peppercorn sauce and add all the trimmings and dressings for it to be a good steak. That's what this is. But you need to know it's a good steak. Yeah? And if you're the chef and you're worried that it's garbage, there's a good chance you'll cover it in peppercorn sauce and add all the trimmings and put it somewhere in the middle of the plate, hiding behind all the potatoes and mash. Yeah? We don't need to hide this behind potatoes and mash or peppercorn sauce. Just present the steak as is. It will stand alone. Earth is measured flat.
Okay, no crap. Notice how I didn't say the other word. But he wants to get that in. So I'm trying to figure out a way where, oh, actually, you just answered me. You can't. There's no way. You just got to say Earth is measured flat. I got you.
All those things are going to come later, aren't they? When the interviewer or anyone asks you, they're going to start with all the ball things that you, on all the knowledge you've accrued, as Dave's talking about, you'll be able to use that down the line. And it's what we used to deal with. But we don't need to. We've just got to say, look at this big, juicy steak. Yeah? And then they go, when they ask about sides later on, let them ask about sides. We don't need to describe sides.
Thing is, though, Adam, as well, I mean, he's made a statement, Dave, that the Earth is measured flat. Now, on the opposing, Jessie should be saying, well, how's that then, Dave? Now, he should know how to respond to that and explain how it is measured flat. Now, whether he does or not,
he doesn't.
I don't know.
No, he doesn't, because he would explain it. Instead, he's gone to what he does know. I know how explaining seeing too far goes when I've done it 300 times previously.
I see what you're saying. He goes to what he knows because he's not confident in it yet.
Not confidence. It's people are creatures of habit. You do what you know has been successful previously. That's what people do. So if he knows that he's managed to rattle his way through previous interviews with this particular explanation, he's going to go with that. Yeah? What we do is very different to giving interviews. We're slowly creeping our way into more and more knowledge of how this subject works. And over time, we refine what are our rhetorical devices that we use to explain that or debate that. Dave isn't doing that. Dave's out regurgitating a script. Now, that's not to demean what he does, but by script, I don't mean he's got 5 pieces of paper in front of him that he revises before he's doing it. He's got his rhetorical devices that he uses again and again and again because they've proved successful. So, he will continue to do so. So we come along and go, there are better ways of doing this. In fact, we genuinely dislike the way it's currently done. Now, he's in his rights, if I was in a conversation with him, which chances are I'm not going to be. But hypothetically speaking, he's perfectly within his rights to say, well, you've used these arguments for years. Why would you suddenly be turning on me because I'm using stuff that you have? And my answer would be simple. Because we were all duped. Like we were duped onto the globe, we were duped into the feast of nonsense. Well, now we need to step away from it. We've spotted it. You haven't, and I'm telling you that you need to step away from telling people how it's not a globe. So we can have false dichotomy arguments no longer. Now, like with science, you can tell me I'm a scammer for as long as you like till you're blue in the face. It won't change what science is. It hasn't changed what science is. All that's happened is it's ended up making the people who called me a scammer for saying that science is a method of proving things look stupid with time. Initially, the first jabs from these people that we discuss on our own side that we're generally appealing to, much to the annoyance of the Globers, because they're becoming inconsequential. But anyway, that's a different story. But in this instance, it's like, yeah, it's what we're telling you. You can either accept it when we tell you, or brace against it and realise it 3 years down the line, when everyone else is looking down their noses at you, because it took you that long to realise something we were approaching you to tell you in the first instance, and you should have been on the cutting edge of as the ambassador for this subject. Dave specifically. If he's going to be an ambassador, then, you know, part of your job as an ambassador is to gather all the recon you can so that when you approach people and do the PR bit, that's only one part of it, you've got the most up-to-date information on behalf of the people that you represent. That's what a good ambassador is. Dave's got the PR bit down.
It'd be interesting to see now what Jesse, once Dave stops talking about how we see too far, what Jesse picks up on. Will he pick up on the point that Dave's mentioned, the Earth's measured flat, and go deeper into that, or will he continue with optical things?
To our vision, but we can see way, way, way beyond that. And then all of the measurements for the heliocentric model, which is the globe model, I call it the heliosinister trick, are assumed measurements. None of them have been proven. In school, we were taught Earth is a globe, this is that, you know, and this is the way it is. But even to this very day, the best physicists in the world say they can't prove whether it's a globe that we're spinning or everything is spinning above us.
Oh, God.
So there you go. That answers your question. He's suggesting that there is no way of proving it and that their measurements are wrong. No. We will, from this point forward on Flat Earth Debate, be taking all claims of a globe as a victory for a flat Earth because their origins are in flat Earth measurements. So you say they can't prove it. It's like, well, no, when we used to incorrectly assume that they had begged the question with an R value, they hadn't. They derived it from a flat Earth measurement. They were always using flat Earth in their elevations off sea level in their Earth curve maths. The difference between eye level and surface level, parallel not bending, gives them Earth curve. Mathematically, below surface level. Now, Dave doesn't know any of this stuff yet. I mean, hopefully it's sooner rather than later. It's probably going to be 5 years down the line with us still moaning about it when he finally catches up. We'll see. Maybe I should do a call to action to actually let Dave know this stuff. You've done it right, One Deck.
Yeah, he's I've messaged him a few times, no response. But I've been nice about it. Come on the show, we'll talk to you. This is what we're dealing with. This is what we're explaining, how you can actually physically measure it and point this out. Come on, we'll have a chat with you.
I've got an idea. Send him a signed copy of your book.
Whose book?
Your book.
I haven't got a book.
When you've got a book, send him a signed copy and then...
Oh, right, okay. I'll do that. Yeah, I mean, maybe we should... I've done this.
Hold on,
been
One
shot
Deck
down.
is on point here. Nathan, One Deck is on the right track because he goes on 24/7. He's like the guru there. Everybody's happy to see him over there. So invite him over here.
There was a bigger point other than me flipping. It's clear he's heard the phrase, he's used it, he doesn't know what it means, and he can't use it. He's reverting back. Whether it's the way One Deck's suggesting, I don't think he would be that magnanimous. Hence, yeah, but he does need to catch up. It's a very powerful tool. Don't need to invite him, just probably need to remind him and tell him what a powerful tool it is and how he's not. If he's not using it, he's missing a trick. That's where I'd probably do it rather than try to make any points of reconciliation or trying to actually talk directly, because I think it's gone past that, hasn't it?
Well, it has. I mean, only yesterday I was informed that, you know, Jaren's still making videos about me being a scammer whilst promoting his trip to Antarctica. So, like, Dave's part of that crew, which is presumably where he and I have parted ways in the first instance.
And we don't want to be their friends. Got no desire. They made that clear. You know, we've moved on. We got over the breakup. But it's embarrassing watching it, and it'd be much better and more beneficial to the purpose we're actually here, which is for flat Earth. If they knew what they're on about.
Yeah, there comes a time when we got to leave them alone. Let them take their own lumps. They want to look like fools. Go right ahead. I got no use for them.
I don't know. I think there might be
a complete antithesis of my point, Neil. Yeah, they're out there, and they're a lot more popular than us, and they're affecting people. When we listen, it's embarrassing, and they're not doing a good job. I would sooner them still hate us and rip off everything we're saying and do a good job.
Yeah, I know what you mean, Adam. It might be worth you know, rather than come on the show and it ends up in some sort of battle, you know. Yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm going to direct message him, and I'm going to give him just some examples to use on how the Earth's measured flat. You know, for example, elevation angles to and from Polaris and celestial navigation. I'll say these are the key things that we're talking about on the show, Dave, and it just demolishes any. Well, there's no. Well, all globe proof is flat Earth proof, and this is what we're saying. This is what we're doing. Please jump on board and have a look at it. See what you think.
Adam, is that because the information is more important than our feelings?
Yeah, feelings. Yeah. What do we
I
do
just
this for?
know
We
he's
want, we
not
want
gonna
people
turn.
to wake up, don't we? We want people to wake up. I don't care if Dave wakes them up or not, but he's got a much better chance of waking them up if he's actually talking sense.
I
That's not
agree,
to-
but it ain't gonna happen.
Look, that's not to. Let's flip it a little bit and say, look, it's not to decry the 10 years of work that's been done debunking the globe, right? That will, as Adam pointed out earlier, come your way regardless. If anybody's even got a cursory understanding of what they remember from high school, they'll be able to challenge you and bring up some garbage proof of a globe that will have its origins in a flat Earth measurement. So we're not decrying Dave's ability to overcome the globe, but preemptively offering up a rebuttal for something that you haven't necessarily had put to you. So Jesse's not put anything to him yet, and he's just offering up rebuttal after rebuttal after rebuttal that essentially puts him in the position to offer up the positive claim for the globe claimant on their behalf and the rebuttal all in one package, and then move on to the next point. Now we're saying that, great, good, you do need this knowledge. If you're going to enter into debate or discussion with anybody, they're going to have globe-based questions to ask you, because that's how they're fixated when you talk to them. However, as a flat earther in 2024, moving forward on the front foot as a positive, confident, assertive flat earther who knows his stuff about how Earth is flat is far more powerful than undoing a rhetoric that there's a good chance, there's a small chance that the person's already heard a small amount about the subject already. So they don't necessarily anymore, like has always been argued in the past, need waking up from their globe paradigm. There's enough familiarity in 2024 with the subject being a thing amongst the general populace, so much so that it needs suppression from YouTube, which means that there's reached a point where they're going, oh, there's too many people who know about this now. Well, you're like, okay, well, then we don't need to start from the position of we need to undo your paradigm because this is such a shock to hear about this subject. It isn't anymore. So what do we do now? We don't have to keep waking them up from a shock position that they've never heard that there could be a possibility that the world is anything other than sphere-shaped. That time was 10 years ago, till now. Now, if you're a flat earther, tell them it's flat. Straight away.
It's like, totally agree, Nathan. And now just back to that video a little bit. I mean, they've gone straight. I mean, he had perfect opportunities there. He's even stated how it's measured flat, and then gone into a bit of la la land. And now they're on Earth spin. Yeah. So they're going to talk about the globe spinning now. Now, Dave should be saying you should be sticking to the flat Earth measurement because, you know, you're going to need for a spinning globe, you're going to need a globe for that, and you haven't got one because we can prove and demonstrate how Earth is measured flat. That's all we're interested in.
That's not true. It's not true. So to describe the axial rotation, you need a horizontal plane. Yeah? Non-inertial and inertial plane of reference. That's what you use to describe Coriolis effect. Yeah? So they can describe it with an axis, but to describe rotation, you need a plane of reference. They'll need a flat Earth for that, is the point. There's always a route to flat Earth. So to say for a spinning globe, you'll need a globe. Well, actually, no. You'll need a flat Earth for that. Yeah, it's a plane of reference, isn't it? Inertial and non-inertial. Anyway, should we get back into it?
Yeah.
They can't prove it either way, but they teach us one as a fact and the other one as they don't even mention the other one as a possibility.
No, we can prove it either way. I can absolutely, without question, prove Earth is flat. You shouldn't be called Flat Earth Dave. If you're suggesting to his audience that you can't prove it either way, and we're taught one as a belief and the other as they don't even mention, end quote, Dave Weiss, Flat Earth Dave, then you don't deserve the position of being called Flat Earth Dave. I don't need to ascribe myself as being called Nathan Oakley of the Flat Earth. Right? I don't need to do that. I just need to prove what I state when I state it. Earth is flat. I can prove it. That is how it is measured. It being Earth. Earth is measured flat. That's it. This is a steak. It will taste delicious. Eat.
Possibility. But to this very day, you know, the best physicists in the world. You had Mark Sargent on about 5 years ago. You had a physicist on, and that physicist said the same thing I'm saying right now, that you can't, that they can't tell whether we're moving or not.
Yeah, you can't. What do you mean? You can't tell whether or not we've got a non-inertial or inertial turning reference frame. Yes, we can. We can take their claims and show how they fail. They claim with a outrageous positive assertion that we are turning, moving. Right? That number one is a positive claim that they must substantiate. Yeah? Their substantiation is with a flat frame of reference called a non-inertial turning frame of reference and an inertial frame of reference. Their claim from the globe, if you are in this religious paradigm of a globe, is that Earth turns underneath an inertial frame of reference to create a Coriolis deflection. That is their claim. To prove we spin. Because it's an outrageous claim that needs substantiation. The default, the obvious and observable, I'm not bloody moving if I'm not moving, that needs no substantiation. It's a non-positive claim. The positive outrageous claim is that we move. So let's focus on that. Dave thinks it's a, well, one might work, the other might work. Why are you out there punting neutral outcomes? No, if this comes up from your opponent, then you make damn sure that they know that the burden is on them and understand how their burden is substantiated if they're a globe believer with a flat plane of reference in a description of non-inertial and inertial frames of reference for Coriolis deflection. That's their claim. Now we undo it, because if we had Earth turning underneath pendulums and gyros and footballs and bullets, then they turn underneath aeroplanes, shortening flight times when travelling west. That does not happen. So you can undo their unsubstantiated, outrageous claim by pointing out how it fails, if you understand it. It's not a, we can't show it either way. It might be Earth that's turning, it might be Earth that's stationary. Earth stationary is a non-positive claim. Earth moving is outrageous and easily proven false because we don't have two frames of reference. Dave just doesn't know his arguments.
The neutral outcome, though, is only if you cite Michelson-Morley. If you, you end up with a neutral outcome because there's a drift, and therefore not the expected drift. Therefore, it's not a ball. But if you cite Airy's failure as a demonstration, that you don't have to get complicated. You can just cite Airy's failure, and that demonstrates it's the stars that are moving and not us. So he does have an old school proof. So I say you get your opportunities to bring out your knowledge. It's there. You know what I mean? But it should be at their bequest, not you when you've been asked, is it flat?
The Flat Out Truth has got a really interesting thing that I'd like to discuss. I'm going to stay live to discuss it too. Excellent super chat. Thank you very much indeed. He says, if Earth measured flat explained badly could hurt, I think to unscramble that super chat. What he's asking is, if Dave just took the surface level of this argument on board and started regurgitating it, and then did an absolutely appalling job of explaining it to host, in this instance, Jessie, he's suggesting that that would hurt, or asking if that could hurt. No, he's emphasising it badly. He's saying that would hurt us if he does a bad job of explaining how Earth is measured flat. What say you, panel?
I don't think so. At worst, you would instigate the ballers to attack it, which would be lovely for people to be able to defend. But I don't think Dave could. I think he's probably forgot some of his old school training. Who's the surveyor that was part of the crew? You know, the Jessie, innit? Oh, that's Jessie. Chris Maitre. Yeah? He's got all of the surveying knowledge he could call on, and I know they know that. So, no, I don't think Dave would do a bad job, and I don't think necessarily, unless you completely ballsed it up, did a Joe Biden sort of thing, you know what I mean, that you are going to do a bad job just learning it. Citing, just citing celestial navigation, yeah, would be sufficient. You might waffle a bit and struggle on the explanation, but if you cited it, it's there. They've then got to rebut it, haven't they? So I think that answers it from my point of view. I would say probably not. Like I said, unless you did a full.
It's a confidence thing, I think. Go ahead, whoever that was. I'm inviting others to. Go ahead. Who was that? I haven't got that screen up.
So why, when I said confidence, did you say no?
It's about confidence because for the last 10 years, when our opponent uses flat earth prerequisites, we let them. That is to say that we will allow them to use an aspect of earth being measured flat to incorporate into their globe claim. Now, from there, it then typically turns into a false dichotomy because they're suggesting that their flat earth measurement-based globe, in quotes, will stack up better and win versus a pizza pie in a sky vacuum. So it's a false dichotomy. But, as John Refracted Curvature was pointing out before he departed recently, not died, but just left the show temporarily, he's got a new job, he would point out exactly that. They're using a flat earth to claim a globe. So when that happens, or has happened, past tense, we've let them. So, for instance, sea level's the most egregious example. They'll start describing the heights of mountains that they're going to put through the Earth curve calculator for the sake of argument. But as soon as they do so, they've already measured the flat Earth. They've measured the heights, or using the measured heights, off the surface level to start the claim. Now, we let them. I let them. We had endless hours of arguments with the flat Earth-based radial value that we thought they were assuming in the calculation that we now know comes from a flat Earth measurement. We were using the surface level derivation from eye level in the calculation. We were using it alongside them. We weren't saying, well, you're using a flat Earth for this. We were just moving forth in the argument, allowing them to use various aspects of a flat Earth that they incorporate into their globe argument. So, seeing people do that, allow their opponent to do that, and do it themselves as a flat earther, you know, not realise that they're using something that proves a flat earth when they start talking about the heights of stuff, means that when it happens moving forward through 2025 and 2026, whatever, they won't necessarily be able to break that habit. They won't recognise, like a trigger word like we do on the debate, when we hear somebody just describing a height of something and go, you'll need a flat earth for that. You don't necessarily immediately get it drilled into you because you've spent I've spent 10 years allowing them to use flat earth measurements to make their globe claims. So it's a force of habit. So it's a confidence issue when you hear your opponent in 2024, 2025, 2026 say, well, the height of the mountain is 3,000 feet and your elevation is 26 feet. And you go, I know how to argue this, right? The clock's not too far away to not be seen, and the Earth curves black swan, and I know how to overcome all this. You don't need any of it. They've already given you two heights off a flat Earth. But if you're into, I need to undo the argument, I know how black swan works, and the Earth curve, not horizon thing, I can argue this with this guy, that's confidence, isn't it?
It does sound robotic when he starts talking, Dave.
Good super chat. Thank you, Flat Out Truth. The Flat Out Truth.
It made me think a bit more as well. So this is not a debate that Dave's on. It's a nice, polite interview. So no, I don't think you could, because you've only got to make some definitive statements that demonstrate you've got a bit of knowledge. Like I said, just mentioning celestial navigation, what an elevation angle is. You're not then going to. It's not going to lead on to having a roofie debate where you're discussing what dip angle is. Yeah. So, no, I don't think you could explain it badly if you'd bothered to look into it. It's a very simple concept that relies on your understanding of triangles, fundamentally, which is a great thing because it's a great buy-in. Because you can sarcastically ask, "Do you understand how a triangle works?" No one's going to say no.
They'll say you can't get the height of that triangle. Can't get the height of the stars.
Yeah, well, then we can explain what celestial navigation is and what an elevation angle is, can't we? But like I say, I don't think in this scenario you're going to get that rebuttal because he's just asking politely. So, no, just mention it is all I'd say. And don't worry too much.
Have you seen this Jessie guy before?
Yeah, I love him.
I was about to say, I really like his style. He's really laid back and has an ability to get to the crux of the argument, like we've already seen. If you're unfamiliar with him, you've already seen this demonstrated. We've only had him on screen for about 2.5 minutes, which is to say he asked a question, recognised he didn't get an answer, and in the politest possible way just reiterated the question again. To Flat Earth Dave, when asked if the Earth is flat, he didn't get an answer, so had to reiterate it. That sort of thing, you know. But that does take an ability. I think you'll agree, Adam, right? Some people wouldn't be able to do that.
Well, yeah.
There are other examples of him just generally being a likable personality.
His honesty and calmness is that's why I'm interested in seeing him, because so far Dave's not answered him once, honestly, and it's like a lot of the other. He's on loads of shorts taking people apart. He's a fantastic interviewer,
yes.
But he smells a lie straight away, and he smells a bullshit straight away, like Dave did with regards to the Christian. Didn't give him the direct answer of just yes, after or mention like what a Christian would say is the definitive point of Christianity.
No, his actual answer, let me just give it, was, I consider myself more Christian than some Bible-bashing Christians.
Yeah. The ones that believe that Jesus died for my sins, them ones. Yeah. So, but he noted that he didn't say that. He didn't make that claim. And he was on it straight. He asked for clarity, you know what I mean? And he's done and I say he's done the same with Flat Earth.
I find that quite offensive.
What offensive?
Which bit?
What do you find offensive, Neil?
The ones that Adam said that Jesus died for my sins. What do you mean by that?
He means Christians. He's saying, Dave's been asked if he's a Christian, and Dave said yes, and then qualified it by saying, I consider myself more of a Christian than some Bible-thumping Christians. That's his response. So we've then, or I did at the time when we were responding to the video, said, right, so the people who've given their heart to Jesus, that wouldn't be your answer. It's you loving thy neighbour. Okay, so you don't necessarily, it seems, know what a Christian is. I'm not going to overtly state that as true. It might just be that he forgot to mention the bit about giving your heart to Jesus. You know what I mean? So when Adam specifically points out that particular group, he's highlighting the fact that Dave didn't categorise it in that way. He's given a Weasley answer. Now he's saying that Jessie, just to tie this back into the point, Adam, I'll bring you back in a second, has a sixth sense for sniffing out bullshit. I know that just from watching a few, like you, Adam, a few shorts of him.
But he interviews a lot of like transgender people that support this, that, and the other, and claim they're Christian, and he'll get to the root straight away. Well, what's a Christian then? What do you believe? You know? And Dave's that's what I said. It reminded me of the shorts. You see, it's the same. He instantly noticed that's not a complete answer. Do you understand, Neil?
Shout out to the Flat Out Truth again. Says Nathan needs to be the one. This is your calling. I don't quite know what you mean, but thank you very much for the super chat.
I agree with that. You need to be the one. Let's stop pushing Dave and start pushing Nathan Oakley. Yeah. On
Nathan is ace. I agree. Woo. Anyway,
Eddie Bravo's the key.
Absolutely.
Wake up.
And do you know for sure that the Earth is flat?
Well, what is the definition?
No way. That's the third time he's asked him. And it seems Dave's going to respond with a question. Let's just spin that back. Third time.
you can't that they can't tell whether we're moving or not.
And do you know for sure that the Earth
Oh
is
my
flat?
God.
Well, what is the definition of flat? Flat is not a shape. Flat is a description of level, horizontal. We live on a non-rotating, level, topographical, horizontal plane. And, you know, we have hills and valleys and everything, but everything is level. And we know this.
See, that was a good little bit of ramble, but that was the point where I paused to say measured flat. So with all that build up, when he's describing the topographical plane, that's the point to insert it, Dave. Not before we see too far. Yeah? This is the point to insert it. Earth is, you know, as you've just rambled through various descriptions of level and horizontal, and then Earth being a topographical plane, is then followed up with, that's how it's measured.
For a fact. Now, in the flat Earth community, we're trying to figure this place out. Flat Earthers are willing to say, we don't know. Or, hey, that works on both flat and globe.
Why is he being so weaselly? Have some confidence. I didn't know Dave was this weaselly. We were willing to put our hands up and say, we don't know. It could be either. No. I'm willing to put my neck on the block and go, Earth is measured flat.
And what you'll find out in this conversation, things will fall into three pots. Works on a flat Earth, works on a globe Earth.
Wrong. The globe Earth is derived from flat Earth measurements. They all only work on a flat Earth because that is how they all originate in the measurements of Earth. So it's not two categories, it's one. They were using a flat Earth all along. When they said that they were making a globe work, they weren't. They were making a flat Earth prerequisite model work.
And works on both. And you'll find that things go into both end bowls, but the middle bowl, the globe, nothing goes in there by itself. Nothing. So you have to keep looking at the evidence. And, you know, here's the thing. We can, since we have 5 hours to do this show, we're...
like you say, Adam, this stinks, doesn't it? Right? It's like, why isn't he just saying yeah? He's been asked 3 times, so you're absolutely sure it's flat. And he's being told, in essence, keep an open mind. Here's lots of descriptions of flatness and levelness and horizontalness and topographical planes and good words. But ultimately, you've got to keep an open mind. You can fit things into 2 different boxes, and you can't fit all of these things in this metaphorical box for the globe. Like, this is meaningless drivel.
We're barely going to be able to cover all of the information. So what I tell people is, do not believe anything I say.
I tell them Earth is measured flat. Then there's no need to tell them whether or not they need to apply a belief structure to it. It's a measurement. It's a category error to question whether or not you need to believe me on this. You can check the measurement if you wish, but I'm telling you how it's measured, and you don't have to like it. What's that? You tell people that they don't need to believe you. That's probably because you're peddling quite a few beliefs, Dave. So it's best if you use the old double bluff. Say, oh, don't believe me, but there's a good chance that you'll peddle a load of garbage to them, Dave. You know it and I know it.
Go verify it yourself.
That was the
but
perfect answer, Nathan. You didn't say belief. You said you could check the measurements. Nothing to do with belief. I like that.
Google will not hand you anything. If you Google Flat Earth, Google my name, Google anything, you're going to get propaganda. You're going to get nonsense, right? On my website.
Yeah, you're going to get feast of nonsense, Dave, and you're out there peddling it. Stuff about seeing too far, that's part of it.
FlatEarthDave.com, there's a button called the Crash Course, and there's a list of videos in there that are being hidden from you. Watch them.
I know that look. Jesse's look is, why is my split screen not centralized the guest? So he's a man, so he's going to be slightly distracted by that. And that is the look that would be on my face if I was looking at this on my monitor now going, that don't look right. So he's slightly distracted now while Dave plugs his up, fortunately.
Those videos with a skeptical mind. Do not believe anything. Verify everything. And I'm so confident, for those of you who know that what Bitcoin is, I offer 3 Bitcoins for 1.
Oh, really? You offer 3 Bitcoins, Dave? Do you defend this now with good flat earth arguments?
1 globe proof, but you have to watch those videos first.
And so,
have
do
to
you
watch
know?
it first.
Do you know for sure and without a doubt that the Earth is flat?
4 times.
Four
4
Yes, we do.
times. Go on, whoever that was.
I was just saying, yes, I do.
Yeah, we can answer this question immediately with a statement that has punctuation. Earth is measured flat. Do you know for sure, Nathan, that Earth is measured flat? Yeah, you can go and check it out. That's how it's measured. So he wouldn't be repeating it 4 times to me because it would make him look really silly, wouldn't it? There'd be no need to. Why is he needing to repeat the same question to Flat Earth Dave 4 times? What's going on? It's because he's not convinced at the end of what you've told him, Dave. Yeah? Shame. It's such a shame.
He's not answered it directly. It's like when he asks people, so you're a Christian. Why? Because I believe in God. Yeah? But why are you a Christian? And he'll keep asking the same point till he gets the answer. Yeah? He's doing the same with Dave to get to the point. For Dave to make the affirmative statement that he knows it's flat, he's asking why. He's not done that yet. Dave's not just gave the simple answer. Which is why I think he's just repeating. Well, he wants him to make it a positive statement. Once he says, yes, I know it's flat, he's going to ask him why he knows it's flat, surely. Because
yeah,
he keeps asking the same question, but he's not getting a straight, honest answer, which is how this man works from my...
Yeah, but why is Dave not giving him a straight answer?
Because he's a flat Earth believer. Because he doesn't know. Yes. He doesn't know it's flat. He knows it's not a ball. That was the answer he gave. You'd have to take people at their face value, the words that they actually use. The first answer he gave, do you know it's flat? I'm paraphrasing. Right? This is Jessie to Dave. Do you know it's flat? I know it's not a ball. That's the answer. So, is it a, yeah, I absolutely know, balls to bones, without question, that this is not a debatable subject matter. It is flat. Which sounds better?
I know for sure and without a doubt that it's not a globe as they describe.
Same answer. Told you.
Oh, my God.
And do you know for sure and without a doubt that it's flat?
5 times. That's 5 times you've had to be asked this. You're called Flat Earth Dave. What's going on? Right, please let this guy know. It's not often that I go, oh, you know, actually, I'd really quite like a response from this guy. I'd actually genuinely like this guy to either make a video or, you know, no, I want him to know. It's not just from the perspective of hopefully he'll respond and we'll get some YouTube algorithmic love where we typically don't from YouTube if he were to make a response. In this case, like Adam and myself, we've seen this guy around. We appreciate what he's doing. And he spotted something that perhaps through being a flat earther, even I wouldn't have necessarily spotted. That he hasn't answered the question. Now, he's got the same answer he got the first time on the go-around of 5 times asking if he knows Earth's flat or not. Thank you for the super chat. Who was that? Let's just have a quick look. Flat out truth again. Dave is proving my point. Enough said. Thank you for the super chat.
Well, what is your definition of flat?
Do you know for sure and without a doubt that the Earth is flat?
6 times. 6 times he's asked him.
Well,
So who's
it's
the
not flat
scammer
because
now?
there's hills and valleys, so that's not flat.
But
It's
you-
level.
Oh my
Oh,
God. Dave's
oh,
answer is it's not flat.
Why is he not just answering?
I think there's hills and valleys, therefore it's not flat.
So I say, who's the scammer now? He
doesn't-
calls himself Flat Earth Dave.
No. It's not scamming. He doesn't understand the words he's using. It's surface regurgitation. He said topographical plane. Doesn't know what that actually means, does he? So, okay, Dave, it's not flat because we've got hills and mountains. Yeah, their heights are described with respect to that plane that you obviously don't know what it means. You've just thrown it in there because it sounds cool. Because if you did know, you'd know that the hills that you have just appealed to for how not flat it is are described with respect to the horizontal plane of reference of Earth. That's how they're described in terms of their elevations. Their heights above sea level. That's how not flat is described with respect to how flat it is. But your answer is, well, it's not flat, basically. So he doesn't understand what a topographical plane is to describe the deviation from that plane in terms of elevations of hills and mountains and valleys. So he doesn't understand the arguments. There is no other conclusion to draw, is there?
Flat earther.
It's level. It's horizontal.
But
how would you describe a pond? Is it flat?
do you know for sure and without a doubt that the Earth is flat?
That's 6 times?
That's 7, I think.
Is that 7?
Yeah, 6. See, he knows, doesn't he? He knows that he just believes it. Like we've said, he doesn't, doesn't know it's flat, Dave. He just believes it. He knows it's not a ball, which is why, to be fair, he did say that. But Jesse's going to pursue this point, isn't he? He's now got a gotcha.
Look at the shit-eating grin on Dave's face after being asked the same question about Earth being flat 7 times.
Well, all of our observations show a flat level Earth, 127,000 feet. Earth is...
So your standard is it looks flat. So about a 5-6-year-old standard. Looks flat. It's measured flat, Dave. He's given a height for how flat it looks from. How did you reference that height, Dave?
Isn't spinning out from underneath here. It looks flat.
And
that's just a fantastic standard. It looks flat. Yet you had a proof in the elevation that you described how high you were to look at how flat it was from. That height, if accurate, was described from surface level for it to be an accurate elevation. Surface level being flat, that's how elevations are described, Dave. You just brush straight past the flat Earth. This is where I was saying earlier, it's a confidence thing, Neil. Yeah? We have spent 10 years brushing past what they also use as flat Earth prerequisites. He's just done it, and Dave doesn't realise how good a flat Earth proof he's got when he just says how high he is to describe a crap standard of proof of it looking flat.
Yeah, but that's what I said. He doesn't have the confidence.
Yeah.
Do you know for sure and without a doubt that the Earth is flat?
8 times. 8 times he's asked him the same question.
Are you going to keep asking me until I answer? I know for sure that the Earth is not rotating. I know for sure.
It's a different question. That's not the question he asked. So just asking him if Dave knows, man, this guy's exceptionally... I love this guy. I've just fallen in love with Jessie Lee Peterson. This guy's ace. This guy's ace. All he's done is ask the same question. That's all he's had to do. And he's undone Dave. He's exposed him as a fraud with one question. Wow. Has anybody watched this before? This is absolutely epic.
Sure that it is level. I know for sure that all plumb bobs are parallel to each other and perpendicular to horizontal. I know for sure that the oceans do not bend when at rest. I know for sure that we can see farther than the physical ball allows us to, right? If there's a curvature, my mouth is behind the curvature.
So yeah, get straight into it's not a globe. Yeah, he's literally hiding behind it, isn't he? In the most literal way.
Then he should change his name to Not a Globe Dave and not Flat Earth Dave.
Yeah, this globe that he's holding is what I would call a comforter. Yeah, he's under pressure, so he's got his little comfort toy to put between him and the questions. Physically put between him and this question of, do you know it's flat? And what is he putting between himself and that question? The globe. This couldn't be better in terms of its physical representation on screen and the metaphorical representation of what we're describing. When Dave is asked if he knows the Earth is flat, He physically puts the globe between himself and that question. Wow.
It's such a shame because he is tittering and tottering with the level, horizontal. He's already said it's measured flat. He just doesn't know how to unravel it and get that, be direct and confident and just say, yes, it is flat. And this is how it's measured. And I can explain to you exactly how it's measured. Elevation angles to and from Polaris using sea level. Next question.
Exactly. He wouldn't have had it 8 times if that would have been his answer, because it's something conclusive that you can state with absolute certitude that it would seem stupid to respond with the same question. If somebody asks you, do you know it's flat? That's how it's measured. Do you know it's flat? My response, if that was the question for a second time, would be, are you deaf? Anyway, with that, I'm going to say, if you are watching this on either Nathan Oakley 1980 or Nathan Oakley Premiering streams, then stay tuned, as there will be an after show to follow.
Right? Do you
Hey,
think
Brian.
he deserves to have the name Flat Earth Dave?
Not when he has to be asked in excess of 8 times if he knows Earth is flat.
What
would you have said, say, 3 years ago or longer, Nathan? To that, I mean, obviously now with the 2024, we know what we're saying, what we're doing, which is where we are with it. What would you have said?
I'd be in the same boat. He'd have me on the ropes 4 years ago. 4 years ago, I was saying, "Yeah, I don't like your flat Earth proof." They're like, "Why? It's a pencil beam laser in excess of 30 miles. Why wouldn't I don't like that?" I'm not 100% behind that. And there's various different other flat Earth proofs that I'm like, I don't like this either. So I was a bit ambiguous in terms of my declarations of obviously and observably, which is what Dave's doing, isn't he? That was my rhetoric.
That's because you didn't learn the details.
Yeah, basically. That's what we're accusing Dave of, so I've got to take it on the chin. I'm not going to say no.
Even 4 years ago, you would have handled it a lot better than this meatball just did. 8 times he's asked the question. And all he could do is say it's not a globe.
No, what he did was physically put the globe between him and the question as a defense mechanism.
Oh, how comfy.
Powerful image when you see him doing it, literally picking up a ball and putting it between him and the 8th rendition of the question, if the Earth's flat or not.
Ryan, I watched your video this morning. I got 10 minutes left of it, though.
I see it.
The visual helps me a lot. You know that.
A lot of people like that, yeah.
Were you listening into the show, Brian?
Yeah, is it all like it's a live show over? Or you said it's still on?
I literally just rounded it out like 2 minutes ago.
Oh, did you? Oh, I was. I said, yeah. Jessie Lee Peterson is excellent. I've heard him take apart people left, right, and centre. He's very, very calm, and he smells nonsense. And he could smell that Dave would not just say, "Yeah, 100%, it's flat." I don't know what Dave's game is, other than me seeing him as a fraud, but he's not able to just make a declaration. It's like, it's nearly like he's trying to bring ambiguity into it.
Yeah.
I don't trust him at all.
Yeah, it's such a shame, but that's why it was so amusing for us when we see someone like Jessie see straight through it, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Jessie Lee Peterson saw straight through him. I don't know how the rest of it went. You can play it, maybe you play it on or something, but I mean, the thing about Flat Earth Dave is he goes around, it's flat because of this thing, and we see this fire, and the globe doesn't work because of this, and it's not rotating. And I mean, every time he was asked about, do you know for sure it's flat, he'd go, it's definitely not rotating. Why are you going to rotation? Is this ether-based? That's all I'm thinking. He has an agenda. Why don't you just answer the question straight? Just a straight, honest answer. If that was
a baller, you'd be shouting at him, wouldn't you? Because you won't answer the question.
Well, the thing is, Brian, this is where Jessie he did in the beginning say that he stated that the Earth is measured flat. So he needed to be brought up on that and asked, how is it measured? What should have happened? But that's what we said. Does he know how to explain how it's measured? Was it just something he was saying? Can he back them words up? Or is he just saying it because he's hearing about this, the Earth is measured flat? You know what I mean?
Well, there's no point in saying it if you can't detail the measurements. That's what I would say. And if Dave doesn't know the measurements, or whoever, just don't say it. You have to know the measurements. You have to know, and you have to know the three ways and how the processes work. If you do that, you're giving people something they can genuinely go. Anyone can go. A homeless person who has access to a smartphone can go and check it out. You know,
So
everybody.
The three ways are celestial navigation. What's the other one? The on the ground. The don't tell me
Rise
the
over
answer.
run.
You're the exact person that shouldn't be bringing it up. The exact.
No, I'm asking you. Okay, Brian.
Celestial navigation.
I'm asking you because you told me the other day. Celestial, surveying, and the other one was flight,
aerospace.
right?
Aerospace. Yeah.
Aerospace. Wise ass.
Well, no, because I'm pointing out to anyone who you couldn't even remember the three of them.
I could. I'm driving, Brian. I'm doing other things. It would have came to me.
Right.
Brought it up many times. I've shut my sister-in-law. That's the only thing that actually shut her up.
But you have to be able to detail the measurements too, Neil. And this is not to you. This is to everyone. There's no point bringing it up saying Earth measure flat if you can't detail the measurements. You can point out where the globe are using a flat plane. You can do that. But if you're saying measurement, you have to be able to detail how the measurement happens. And if you can't do that, there's no point in saying it's measured flat because you'll be caught on the hop.
I mean, the real back to basic ones, we spoke about it today, and I use it a lot because it's easy and it's just sea level.
Exactly.
It's a killer. At least, you don't have to get into the wrangle tangle, really. It's sea level. We all know it's called sea level. We can all look at the apparent horizon, which, is where the surface of the Earth appears to meet the sky. And if you're out at sea, that will be the sea level, the horizon. And that's how all elevation profiles are measured. Even the pressure gradients are measured from sea level.
Yes, so this is the problem with that, right? The one problem with sea level is you've got to be able to overcome it if somebody says sea level is from a globe, right? You've got to be able to show that what they're referring to is an equal distance from a center point, which is not level. Level is no point higher or lower than another. Then you've got to be able to detail like auto levels, how they work, spirit levels, things like that.
Yeah.
So you've got, I think even a bubble sextant, you've got to be able to detail those things because otherwise you'll have to be arguing with someone about a curve level. And if you can't overcome that point, if you say sea level, they can say globe. They can say sea level on a globe, and you're kind of at an impasse because somebody. I'm not saying you personally, Dick. I'm saying somebody can't get over their claim, and they can come up with a Merriam-Webster, ridiculous definition.
Yeah, but sea level is the surface. It's the surface of Earth. It's a surface. It's not nothing to do with inside a ball.
Well, for them, it's the surface too. It's the surface of their ball.
But it's
Every
level.
point is equal distance. Is an equal distance from their center, 3959 or whatever.
Yeah, but when you're measuring elevation profiles, it's nothing to do with the center of Earth. You're using the surface of Earth, which is the level plane of the water.
No, but this is if I was a bowler, this is how I get over that. because I already know that you don't know what they're doing. They're taking a point on the surface of their globe, and they're measuring right from that point. Well, it's not vertically. Let's just say straight up. I can't even use up with the globe, but I'll have to for this, right? Straight up, right, or out from their surface, right, in a straight line. That's what they're doing. And let's say that measurement is 1,000 meters. They then say because that 1,000 meters point is 1,000 meters above the point on the surface, on the water that's on their globe, then that's 1,000 meters above sea level. Then they'll move 10 foot to the left and do the same thing and make another 1,000 meter straight line, right? And say that's 1,000 meters above sea level. And then they'll say, but both of those straight lines are meeting at a point in the center, diverging zenith. This is what they do. So they're not dealing with a plane of reference when they're coming up with that nonsense. They're dealing with points on the surface of a sphere.
So when you use sea level to get, your elevation angle to and from Polaris, there will be a distance along that sea level for the horizontal baseline.
There will, yes, in reality. But what they'll do is they'll place a tangent at one point, and that point will be sea level for them. Equal distance from a center point. It's not sea level, but it's what they'll try and claim to be sea level. And that's where they'll place their tangent. And they'll use a tangent then and refer to this tangent all the time. But the tangent is attached to the globe at one point.
Sorry, but I was just saying, you got to watch your video from this morning.
That'll help it, all right, but that's not specifically about sea level, but it would help.
Deals with a tangent, though.
Can you see Skype, Brian?
I can look down in a moment, yes.
I've put in the thumbnail for today's live stream. I'll just stick it on screen for the audience as well. Just let me know when you can see it. I just want to know what you think of it. You specifically.
1 second. Get it open now.
You got it?
Almost. It's just I have to use the iPad. It's just updating.
Just Jessie and Dave with the show number and well, you'll see when you see.
I see it, yeah. Yeah.
What do you think?
21:30. Good. Nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that? What do you think of the background?
Dave and a load of globy stuff, is it?
What do you think? As an overall appearance, you think that looks good? It pops, right?
Yeah, it looks good to me. Jessie Lee Patterson stands out more than Dave.
Sure.
Which I think he wants, yeah.
Yeah, well, he's more popular. But you'd say it's a good background, right?
Well, it is for Dave.
You know what it is?
Is it the... Go on, I can't remember the name. Look, it's coming to mind. Go on.
Right, Selfridge is in Birmingham City Centre.
Oh, is it?
We were talking about how god awful it was, so I thought, right, that's a pretty stunning view from this particular point that Dave's pointing. So I'll just use it as a background because it looks cool. But yeah, Birmingham is a cool background.
That's pretty good. We're already talking today about how bad Birmingham used to look in the 70s.
Right, exactly. With Telly Savalas, right?
Yeah.
Okay, you like that? There you go. Cool stuff. I'm just glad you guys were chatting amongst yourselves long enough for me to make a thumbnail.
I was just pointing out that regardless of what you're going to bring up, you've got to be able, even if it's not, it's measured flat or even sea level, and you say you're going to have to support. Now, you might know people that can support it, and you might know that they're telling the truth, and you might have been able to somewhat understand what they're telling you, and you can see, yeah, it has to be what they're saying. But if you can't detail what that is, then don't bring it up. I don't start talking about biochemistry. I don't do it. I might know learn bits and pieces here and there from QE or Adam, but I don't talk about it because I'm not going to get far. How far am I going to get making a claim about biochemistry to someone who's claiming evolution or something? I'm not going to get very far because they're going to say something to me that I don't know how to respond to.
especially in a flat earth debate. I wouldn't bring it up either.
But just as an overall, like, I mean, why bring up a topic or bring up something if you can't support it? Stick to what you can support and what's simple. And if you can't, if what's simple and what you can support is not good enough to be debating that person, don't debate them.
And that's why Dave's not doing it then.
Say again, Neil.
That's why Dave is not detailing it, because he doesn't have the confidence or the understanding to detail it.
That's not the reason.
Back to his clone.
I don't know why Dave is not doing what he should be doing, but he's not doing it. But one thing is for sure, and I've noticed this with Dave, is that he doesn't learn the details. This is not an attack on you, Nathan. He doesn't learn details. He doesn't properly verify things.
Hang on a second. Don't start criticising Dave for not learning the details. Preempt it by saying this is not attack on you, Nathan. In other words,
yeah, well,
I'm incorporating all these criticisms of Dave like they are of you, cheeky sod.
No. Let me give an example, right, of what something Dave did, right? What's his name? The guy that Kiwi calls Jabba the Hutt. I can't remember his name because Kiwi keeps calling him Jabba the Hutt.
Jabba the Hutt. Oh,
yeah.
you mean the monkey, tattooed monkey?
The guy with the bald, heavy guy that sits next to an iMac with a fire on it.
Oh, you're talking about the guy Wheeler.
Ken Wheeler.
Yeah, Ken Wheeler. Yes, Ken Wheeler was talking to Dave and I think Jaron and Bob there a year or two ago, before Bob passed away. He was looking okay kind of at the time. And Dave's brought up a picture showing the Cola Super Deep borehole to Ken Wheeler. Now, Ken Wheeler's not a flat earther. And he showed him a mine in Australia or something like that, or Idaho or something, this big, huge mine, or China. And Ken Wheeler had to correct him and say, that's not the Cola Super Deep borehole. The Cola Super Deep borehole is about 2 foot in diameter.
If
or
that.
a foot in diameter.
It's not even that.
Yeah, it's small. But Dave didn't even have the right photo. Do you know what I mean? And this was like something where he wasn't even attempting to, well, maybe he was attempting to, I don't know, to make Flat Earth look bad. But he made Flat Earth look bad just on that one thing. Like Ken Wheeler didn't say that, but even Ken Wheeler was sitting there going, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. You could see it on his face.
So, Brian, you mentioned something about Ether. Do you think that's what it is? That he doesn't want to because there's an underlying push for this Ether?
Well, I think he kept on bringing up the rotation issue, Neil. Oh, we know it's definitely not rotating. Well, how do you know that, Ether? That's what he's going to say, isn't it? Let's be honest. That's where he's going to go with that. So it's like he wants to go towards talking about Ether. So it's Ether Dave as opposed to Flat Earth Dave, in my opinion. Because they're all becoming Ethereans. Ether. It's like the Flat Earth is just a back doorway in to, get popularity and then start pushing Ether. That seems to be what's going on. There seems to be it doesn't seem to be about Flat Earth. Flat Earth is a B category, secondary, for basically all that group. I won't add in, what's his name from Argentina? I won't add him in because I haven't heard him speak about it now, in fairness. Iro Landucci. I won't add him in because I'm not going to lay that at his doorstep. But Jaron, Dave, obviously with it, Ether seems to come number one at the moment.
Well, when you ask 8 times if you know Earth is measured flat and you keep dodging the question, that's what it sounded to me like. He was dodging the question.
Well, he wouldn't even have to finish the sentence with me. He wouldn't even have to ask me because I'd be telling him about how flat it is and how he can support that for himself. Do you know what I mean? He wouldn't have to be even asking me that. And if he did, I don't even think he'd get to finish the sentence before I'd be giving him a massive resounding yes.
Yeah, and we'd correct him on his questioning. We'd be like, it's not a belief.
Exactly. I mean, I hear that myself. I've even sent somebody a message today a lot of the message today because he had someone on his show talking about how ridiculous the flat Earth globe thing is. And this guy was pointing out some of the crazy flat Earth stuff, some of the crazy flat Earthers, and some of the things they say. And I couldn't disagree with him. But he had other things wrong because it was all based in a false dichotomy. It's like, I believe in this and you believe in that. It's like, no, I don't have a belief. If I measure a door frame to be 6'7" in vertical height, is that a belief or a conspiracy? No, just a measurement.
Yeah, it's just a measurement. You could check the measurement if you want, and that's what Nathan said.
That's the good thing about measurements and processes of measurement, especially ones that we would use. I mean, when it comes to surveying, don't need to go into everything. Just rise up or run. Don't need to go into anything else. There is other ways they do things in surveying, but they don't need to go into them. Rise up or run. It's a tried and tested method used in every part of the world from the start of surveying. Right, very simplistic method, but works epically. Right, so when it comes to airplanes, the lift effect, just the basics of the lift effect. That's the end of that. Don't need to go into anything else. It gives the reason for why the plane always has an above horizontal pitch. So if it always has an above horizontal pitch, that means it can't be flying around the globe that would cause it to have to be going below horizontal immediately. And then you have celestial navigation. Now, that's a little bit more tricky to simplify. But when you show them like detail, the dip correction is not too hard to understand as a basic. It's not. And when you detail that for people and what point out what a right angle triangle is, you know what I mean? There isn't like most people will just go, yeah, that, like, especially when you're talking about distances of hundreds and thousands of nautical miles of horizontal measurement. Like, you don't have to overcomplicate it, but you do need the details if someone does want to get into the nitty-gritty with you. So you need more than what I just named out. You need to learn the subjects in and out before you go chanting it.
It sounds exactly similar to what I was saying when, in terms of, yeah, you've got to have a good understanding of how the debate's going to run if you're going to debate people. But in terms of just understanding how Earth is measured, that was kind of the sentiment I was trying to get across when I was saying that. You know, as long as you're not going to have somebody put their globe Earth belief for you to unpack and find the flat Earth from within that claim, is that, in other words, debate. You don't necessarily need a really comprehensive understanding of the ins and outs of globe Earth rhetoric and how it doesn't work to understand how Earth is measured. I think, you know, it doesn't rely on the other. You don't have to think, I'm going to now enter into debate with people who don't think Earth's flat because they don't know how it's measured. Do you know what I mean? You can just get on with your day once you know it's measured flat.
The problem is, you can't, see what I would say, right, from a realistic point of view, is you can't not end up debating with somebody, whether it be someone in your family or someone, when you get to this topic. You may not be on the debate, in the debating arena on Discord or one of these kind of things, but you will eventually have to debate this with someone around you. And if you can't comprehensively do something, right, you want to look bad. I'll give you an example, right? This happened to me. Because of other people saying, way back in 2015, that Nikola Tesla knew the Earth was flat, right? I said that to my friend, and he said, really? Yeah, support it. And I had not, because I realised I hadn't actually, that was one of the things I didn't check out. I just heard loads of people saying it. People, you know, popular people, maybe Dave or Jaron or whoever at the time. And I realised I had nothing. And he started laughing at me. So that's, even if I never wanted to debate anyone else, I've just made myself look stupid in front of my friend. Why? Because I didn't have the details. I didn't put in the effort. I didn't learn what I needed to learn. So as soon as someone gets to this topic, they're going to eventually end up in a debate or argument with someone. So they have to learn something. Otherwise, you just can tell no one.
That's why you got to keep up with the debate. Got to keep up with flat Earth debate. Actually, I butchered that. Keep up to date with the flat Earth debate.
The standards you lay out from the beginning do matter, and also where you are. So, for example, if you're on modern day debates and you call out a fallacy, and the host picks his nose, you know you've got to be arguing within the begging the question fallacy, within the paradigm, and if you don't, then you're going to be berated and it's going to be held against you. Whereas with your individual interactions with everyday people, you can set the standard and hold them to that standard, not let them go past it. Depends where you are, who you're talking to.
Yeah.
Well, sorry, Nathan, go on.
I was just agreeing.
Well, I would say that never before in this arena has the statement, a little bit of knowledge is a very dangerous thing. Never before has that statement been so true. Because, never before, maybe just in this arena. Because how many times do we see ballers who only have a part of the information? They don't have all the information, and they end up looking bad, right? When a flat earther shows them up for not having the full information. But that's going to happen to flat earthers if they're going to be running around saying it's measured flat, but they can't detail the measurements. And even if they can detail some basic measurements, if they can't go into the minutiae after that, other parts, they'll start looking bad because they'll seem like they just have surface information. So you have to read the full book.
You covered the only rebuttal that's required from them to be overcome by us if you're going to get into the debate of it. So you said, well, you can't really get into just saying it's measured flat unless you can overcome somebody telling you that curve means level. Now, if you can't, like I exampled maybe an hour or two ago, go straight to the curve maths and say, look, for your maths to function, to describe Earth curve, you must be able to derive a differential from eye level at elevation with surface level, which is parallel, which is level. Both are parallel with each other, not comporting to the centre of a sphere Earth. They're level, eye level and surface level. That's how I would overcome that argument, just so I've got the ball rolling. It doesn't necessarily mean that is the way to overcome it. You could use the slope formula, whatever you like. I'm just saying, if you haven't got something to overcome the complete stupidity that is level is curved, which is what they come back with, if that suddenly throws you for 6, what are you going to do? No, it's not. Level, sea level. Yeah, that's moving around a sphere Earth. Here you go. I'll give you a definition from Merriam-Webster. It even says it in the definition. And then you're completely stymied and have lost. Right, Brian? What you were covering earlier, about 20 minutes ago.
Yeah, because you're putting yourself in a stupid position. Well, see, what can also happen is what happened yesterday, right? Now, it didn't happen yesterday. I'm saying the guy tried it yesterday. The guy yesterday brought up a definition of level from surveying, right? I think it's from. I've heard it before. I think I've seen it some. And he said, level is perpendicular to the direction of gravity. Now, you done him good when you brought up, down then, right? That done him good, right? But the thing about it is most people wouldn't give it a thought. They wouldn't go, hang on a minute, the direction of gravity. Oh, gravity, I'm in trouble now. He's talking about glow stuff. It's like, no, right? Gravity is not a direction, and it's not a geometric term. So for me, I would throw that citation straight out because it doesn't tell you anything. Gravity, what's that? There is no direction of gravity, and there is no gravity in geometry. Right? We're talking about the definition of level. We're talking about geometry, right? Specifically. So I wouldn't even have to go. I wouldn't even have to. In my position, I wouldn't even have to argue that. Right now, what you did was excellent because it took them apart because it's perpendicular. Perpendicular, you can't have that means down vertical, right? But most people wouldn't get to that. They get stumped by that. They would. They'd be stumped by that, and you just don't want that happening in an arena, in a big arena. You don't want that happening. You want to be able to show confidence in what you know in a big arena. So when someone comes up with this absolute nonsense, because believe it or not, being on Jessie Lee Peterson's show is a big arena. Lots of people watch him. You know, and he's growing all the time. And because of if you're popular on his show, that might mean you get onto a different show that's even bigger. So, I mean, that is a big arena for us, especially for our group as flat earthers. Being on Jessie Lee Peterson is a big arena. Maybe for Dave it's not a massive arena, but for us it's a big arena. And you have to be able to, if someone comes up with that nonsense about its level is perpendicular to the direction of gravity, you've got to be able to take that apart, regardless of where it came from. And you've got to be able to call out the people, I don't care if they're surveyors, who came up with that complete and utter nonsense, and basically embarrass the people without them even being there. You have to be able to do that. You have to. This is the standard. You have to meet it. Otherwise, don't waste everyone's time, including your own. Might seem harsh, but it's the way it has to be.
So a convention has a direction now. That's brilliant.
Yeah, well, as Brian's saying, Neil, you've got to know the ins and outs of what gravity is and isn't. So when they're trying to appeal to it as a reference with respect to down or perpendicular to horizontal, if you know that gravity's not what they're using it as a magic catch-all in this particular circumstance to reference down with respect to gravity, which is really in, you just got to know the argument. But to summarise what Brian's basically saying, don't get into the argument if you don't know your stuff, and then you'll be all right. Then you're not going to embarrass yourself. It is really that simple, though, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what I was. The flat out truth. That's what I meant by my super chat. If you have Dave go out there and he doesn't know what he's doing, it's going to look ridiculous. I've been a flat earther since 15, and just been watching as this goes, and now I'm starting to talk, about it. I've been learning other things. That's another subject. But if you have Dave go out there and he's just ruins it for everybody, nobody's going to want to even listen to measurement anymore. Nathan would be perfect. There's other people that would be perfect because you guys know your stuff. You know your measurements. You know how to articulate what you're trying to say. Like I came back like just a few months ago, found your channel a month ago, and I understood what you guys were saying the whole time. But I was open to it and I understood it because it was nice and plain, simple, concise. That's it.
Nice, thank you.
How'd you find the channel?
Because I am a flat earther, so I think it just came up. And I remember Nathan anyway when he was doing the flat out conferences and all that. Mark Sargent, Patricia, like I was here all that time, and I've just been in the background. The Most High, I was going to start my own channel back there, even with the Witsit. I was talking to Witsit when he only had 3 people. I used to talk to him while he was doing Uber. And this is before he got really big. His thing was started channel early. Mine was no, sit back. You don't know enough is what I keep doing. I debate other things other than just flat Earth, how everything relates back to the Bible, constitutional law, the admiralty law, and all that stuff. So I go through a whole bunch of other things, science, relationships, everything. Everything's based on the flat out truth, regardless on the subject. But that's how I found the channel. I just remember Nathan's name, and it popped up. I clicked on it, and boom, here I am. That was like about a month ago. Thanks, guys.
How you feel about Witsit now, the way he's going?
I think Witsit, like I said, I'd like to talk to him again. I used to talk to him for hours, actually, on the phone while he was doing his thing. Like, hold on, brother, I got to pick up this guy. And so I haven't reconnected with him. I have reached out. I don't know. I mean, I've been looking at a little bit of his things with the ether and all that. That's more, I don't know. It's harder to understand. I get where he's trying to go with it, but if you have that platform, you might as well just come out and do them.
Very easy to understand. What's ether?
Right. I mean, he might as well just, the ether's not even proven, so I'm not even going into that, but I think he should just come out with the measurement. He's got the platform, measurement. All the Earth, maps are measurement. We navigated a long time ago before the globe. Measurement. How'd they get back home? Measurement. Everything's measurement. Nothing. The stars haven't changed. I mean, that's a proven history and how we navigated. I mean, it's just so easy. It's just strange. Like I said, I was talking about pride the other day. Pride is just a wall people put up, but it could be because they believe it. They want to believe it. It's no different than us going from globe to flat Earth. You have to drop your pride. You got to be open to it, and you got to want to seek truth. If you don't, and you're okay where you're living, you'll just keep pushing the same stuff. That's my opinion.
Yeah, we've asked him to validate it a few times on the show. And you just can't. Can't even tell us what it is. We ask what it is. We get electromagnetism, magnetism, counter space, everything but what ether is.
It's because he doesn't know. He's just speculating. I mean, like it's like like I can say I'm actually a mailman right now, so I'm on my route actually. But I could drop this load of mail or a package. That doesn't prove gravity, but I can say this is gravity and drop it, right? So it's not really proof of anything. But we know that we've been measuring the Earth flat and navigating miles or measurements of flat Earth. Actually, I was talking to a surveyor last year on my route, and he was surveying some land for the city here. And I asked him, he's been doing it for 30 years. He actually measured Kansas City, the state of Kansas or whatever, and said that it was the flattest ever. And I said, hey, so in all these years, you never measured the curve. Man, he just stunned. Next thing you know, he's calling his buddy. You ever measure the curve? It was pretty funny to watch. I just walked away. I mean, that's when, it was that type of measurement. It was just pretty funny, actually.
Let's go through how to deal with the claim that sea level is equidistant from a center point. Is level no point higher or lower than the other? Yes. Is equal distance from a center point no point higher or lower than the other? No, it's an equal distance from the center point. Right? It's a radial, basically, right? Two different radials, right? Of a wheel or a circle. So when they want to come up with a citation, what do they come up with? Merriam-Webster, right? If you look at Merriam-Webster, read before and after, it contradicts itself. So instantly, as a citation, as a definition, that's thrown out, right? Sorry, that contradicts itself. So you can't trust that. When you come up with the surveying one, where level is perpendicular to the direction of gravity. Of course, as I said a minute ago, you can point out there is no gravity is not a direction, number one, and number two, it's not a geometric term. So if you can, right, so at that point, what did they do? You have an option then. You could say, do you want to claim perpendicular to down? And as soon as they say that, it's over, right? There's no down and up on a sphere. There's into the center or out from the surface, right? So straight away you have them. So no matter what way they go with it, and they're using the word perpendicular, that's it, it's over. That's how you deal with that. You can then produce, that's the time for you to show 3, 4, 5, 6, whatever amount you can get definitions of level and sea level, right? That show it to be no point higher or lower than another. All you need is the level. All you need is the definition for level. That's actually all you need. But there is good definitions for sea level out there. So once you show that, basics, level, synonyms, horizontal, flat. People know these things. The average person that's listening to that is going to go, level is not equal distance from a center point. So you're bringing their claim into disrepute, taking it apart. So if you want to keep something simple, that's all you have to do right there.
Cool. I like my way better.
Hey, you guys are doing an amazing job. Amazing job you guys are doing. I'm sorry. That's all I got to say. I got to go back and do some work. I'll be listening. Thanks, guys.
There's plenty of flat earth ways to skin a cat. Yeah, it'd be nice if that Jessie guy did get in touch with us. This is one of the few times that you go, yeah, it'd be quite cool to actually chat to that guy.
He may have an email address that you could use, Nathan, in the description or something. Sometimes people will have an email address, and you could email him. That's all you'd have to do. Personally email him. Say, hey, how you doing? I'm Nathan. Yeah, that's my channel, and blah, blah, blah. Go through if you'd like to have a conversation with me personally, or if you'd like me to appear on your show, I'd be willing to do that.
Yeah,
That's
I
what
might
you
drop
should
him
do.
a line, or hopefully someone will drop him a line. With that, I'm going to round out. So, huge, massive, enormous thank you to both Discord and G Plus panels for making today's after show possible. And of course, a massive thank you to all of you in either Nathan Oakley 1980 or Nathan Oakley premiering streams. Hopefully, smashing the super chat, liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing, joining as a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member, and all that good stuff. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I will see you all in the next video.